new era dawns to fill the void. An unfamiliar path with a pulse of its own.
3, 2, 1.
Final Encounter Cast. Interesting conflicts, not conflicts of interest.
Typical corporate bullshit.
With your hosts, Nate, Robbie, Chris, Nika, and Callie. FinalEncounterCast.com.
Ready? Get set? Go!
What's up? Welcome to Final Encounter Cast. Thanks for joining us. Twitch.tv/Limit Break Radio. There we go. For the last time.
The last
Oh my gosh.
The final time.
The final Encounter Cast. Finally. Yeah.
The ending. The end.
Finn.
We can all go home.
It's the end of an era. Although, I mean, I guess in a way, this show is still going to be around and just called Let's Be Real. So, you know.
We'll finally get Callie taken out of the intro.
That too, yes. But
that's the most important part.
Dude, I've gotta spend some time remaking a lot of the production for the shows and stuff like that. So
do you
But
enjoy
aren't we going to be
that?
realer?
I
Isn't
guess
that the point of the new show? Is it's going to be realer?
I mean,
really real?
For real this time?
For real.
Not for play.
So 100 episodes of Final Encounter Cast. Whoever thought that it was gonna make 100 episodes?
That our general gaming show would get so far.
I know, right? But I mean, like, let's consider how far it's actually taken us. You know, like we've taken Limit Break Radio from a show that was on once a month. We would record once a month and then break up those releases over
the good old days.
yeah, over like 3 weeks, take a week off, and then we'd come back and do another set of shows. And because really of Patreon, we've been able to make this now a weekly effort. We've been able to launch and produce 100 episodes of Final Encounter Cast, which Final Encounter Cast led to our opportunity doing Checkpoint.
Which is on episode 59, I think we're about to record?
58.
58, yeah, we're about to record 58.
Yeah. So, you know, and I think we've hit now 50 markets that we're in.
If we haven't, we're at 49. We are so close.
I mean, we are really close
So
to that
close.
to that 50 station high watermark goal, I guess. I don't know. You know, like it's provided us with a ton of opportunities. Like we're the only syndicated radio show for video games that I know of at all.
Or at least as big as we are.
No, I don't know of any other any other talk show that talks about video games that is on more than one radio station.
You want to hear something really probably kind of dumb? Nate?
What?
All right, so whenever I want to like think about how far we've come and like where we're at right now with Checkpoint, I tell myself or I remind myself that the series finale for Frasier was him going national. We're already national.
Was him getting syndicated?
Yeah.
I mean, granted, you know, it's not a daily syndicated show. That's
True.
That's a bigger deal.
True.
That's
yes.
I mean, that's a way bigger deal. But given what we're talking about, like, I don't think we could sustain it daily.
Not without treading a little bit of ground every day.
We'd have to tread significant pop culture territory.
Yeah.
But I mean, you know, it's a big deal. Like, it's a big deal to have a syndicated weekly national talk show. And the fact that, you know, we've been able to make it about video games is, I think, the most amazing part of that. And a lot of that has to do with, you know, the growth of the industry, the growth of our community, you know,
And esports.
the growth significantly, yes. The
And
growth
how
of
amazing
esports.
we are.
But
Nah.
there's, I mean, like, there's just, it's really amazing when you sit back and think about it. Like, you know, really, when you really want to get right down to it, the show started in the basement of a dorm room at Central Michigan University.
Still being done monthly, too.
Yeah. Well, there were
Roughly.
Maybe a little bit longer in some cases.
Yeah, there were some times where we went like a month and a half.
We'd have to like go over to your apartment though and like lug your computer and all your stuff over.
Oh, I know, dude. It was such like the early days were such a fucking production. Like,
Oh, man.
you know, like now everything is set up and it stays set up like it's a permanent setup. We don't have to tear anything down or set anything up. Like, I mean, remember how much work that was? That was an insane amount of work.
Breakdown and like setup were like their own like separate parts of the show.
Yeah, they were. They took like an hour.
An hour each time.
An hour each time, yeah. So, you know, you guys have, and again, a lot of this has been facilitated by the support over at Patreon. Like, that's been the thing that's been able to give us the opportunity to be able to do some of that kind of stuff.
Decibels here in the chat says, yes, Nika, tell us all about this setup and teardown.
What? I didn't join until like right as that arrow was ending. So like,
Yeah, waited for us to do all the heavy lifting.
what? I didn't even know you guys then. And once I joined it kind of shifted over to Nate's apartment. So
Which was like a more semi-permanent setup. Still actually did require setup because I would just leave my mic set up all the
But
time.
most of the time that would be like balancing right in between my shifts at the dorm cafeteria. So like as soon as we're done, I'd like book it out of there. It was very intense scheduling.
Nika
Well,
was a lunch
but
lady.
that's what we had to do. Like we had to, you know, carve out the time while going to school or, you know, and working in a lot of time. You know, like it's pretty amazing that we've been able to take it this far. You know, most people to be able to take a project as far as we have, usually they have got to quit jobs and like focus on you know this project exclusively, and we've kind of been, you know, working and pursuing this at the same time. That is, I think, a way harder thing to do. You know what I mean? Like that's a way bigger task than just, you know, committing all your time to it. Now, granted, you know, like that's a lot more risky too. You know what I mean? Like quitting your job to pursue something like a podcast
Tell me about it.
is pretty risky. But, you know,
Also driving 2 hours in snowstorms.
I mean, to
both
be
ways
to be
is
fair,
also
you
kinda
didn't
risky.
quit your job for the podcast. You quit your job for the
That's
already
fair.
nationally syndicated radio
That's fair.
show.
That pays as much as the podcast.
Yeah, okay.
I think
Probably
my
fair.
favorite moment is still like when people ask me what I do and like I explain it to them and stuff and they do seem genuinely excited and then they'll call it a podcast and I'm like no you're mishearing me, okay? Was a podcast. Technically, yes, we do podcasts as well, but nationally syndicated. And then like you see their eyes and they're like way more impressed even by that, and it's really cool.
Yeah. Even E3 didn't get it. Even when we sent our credentials to E3, they were like, "Oh, you're just a podcast," and we were like, "No,
No, we're kind of a big deal.
Okay.
just a little bit." Kooky set them straight.
Yeah, she did. The firewall did what she did, laid the smack down.
Did we ever figure out if she's here or not?
Yeah, she's here.
Oh, she is.
Yeah, that's right. She said good morning in the chat.
Okay, I'm just checking because you know, like it is very early over there. I wouldn't blame her for sleeping in.
Are you keeping warm, Kooky? I heard that it got down to like 50 over
Oh,
there.
no,
the other
50?
week.
No.
Yeah.
By the way, I want to blame you for showing off that meme the other day of our temperature here in Detroit above LA and Phoenix, because that is what clearly brought the snow. It's your fault.
Wait, I did that?
You did that.
I don't remember sharing that meme.
Yeah, you did.
Huh.
Yeah.
Share so many memes I can't
You're a
remember them
dick.
now.
I shared a weather meme.
Did you?
I think so.
It might have been him then.
No, I mean like literally you saw it on your phone and you like showed it to us in studio.
Okay.
On Wednesday.
Okay.
Oh, on person. Okay.
Yeah.
Yeah. Okay, I probably did that.
I was gonna be like, I don't know how that works. Anyway. So welcome to Final Encountercast. If this is your first time joining us,
also
this is
your
your
last
last
time.
Time. Yeah.
Wow, stepped all over that punchline.
We were all ready for that.
Nothing changes.
We gotta get it.
So Final Encountercast is eventually going to be going away. the finalencountercast.com, the website. It'll eventually be absorbed over into lbrnetwork.com. So you'll be able to find the full archive of Final Encountercast shows over at lbrnetwork.com. But it's going to obviously take a couple of weeks to transfer it. Yeah, because I mean that
it's a lot of
Zemlis. I still have not heard from you, my friend.
Have you tried like talking to him directly?
I
Oh,
I have.
Okay.
So
just making sure.
Get back to me because we need to get this operation.
You know what? I will get him to get back to you. I'll log on publicly to Overwatch tomorrow, and he'll probably show up and be like, "Can I play with you?" And I'll be like, "No, you got to do our.
We need a website.
We need
first,
a website
bro.
first."
So we will eventually have all of the Final Encountercast stuff over at LBR Network. Also, lbrnetwork.com will be the future home of the Let's Be Real podcast. So make sure that you go ahead and bookmark that, lbrnetwork.com. All right, I guess let's go ahead and check out what's going on in the news.
I'm here to do the news tonight.
And that's the way the news goes.
Ladies and gentlemen, we interrupt this program to bring you important news.
Here's a story that's out of this world.
So with the release of Overwatch's newest hero, Brigitte, a support class
Brigitte.
Is that how you really say it? It's not Bridget?
Nope, it's not Bridget. Nope.
It looks like Bridget, and
Well,
that's a
it's
real
Brigitte.
name.
She's
Yeah.
Swedish, Nika. Please set aside your American influences for one moment and realize there's a bigger world out there.
I don't play Overwatch.
It's all right. No one else knew until Papa Jeff said it himself. So she's based heavily around the war cleric
His
aesthetic.
name is pronounced Geoff.
Okay, even though it's spelled Jeff. Based heavily around the war cleric aesthetic from the D&D tropes of old, but one of the developers from Paladin, a more MOBA-based game previously accused of cloning Overwatch, has taken to Twitter to point out some likenesses between Brigitte and their hero, Ashe. They asked Twitter, if I were to point out any similarities between these characters, would it be a case of the pot calling the kettle black or the kettle calling the pot black?
At least he's got a sense of humor about it.
It does, yeah. And Kotaku had this the headline as the Overwatch Paladins Clone Wars continue. But yes, when asked about it, he said, "Oh, it was all in good fun.
Yeah, right.
We're not copying anyone. Please don't think that we're
what
trying
the
to pull
hell?
headlines."
Yeah, that's the thing is that I sort of think that he doesn't really want to open himself up to lawsuit, so probably shut the fuck up.
Yeah, Ashe also has a gigantic hand cannon on her arm that puts even Garlean weaponry to shame.
Yeah, this doesn't even look like the same character.
They both have armor.
They're girls and they have armor.
And red hair.
Hers is like a cherry red, and Brigitte is more like a ash red or
not
a
even
brown
fucking
red.
close.
Yeah.
Not even fucking close.
Okay, but they both have shields.
Get out.
I mean, I don't even see a shield on her.
They
but
pop out.
I guess. So
They're
they both
they're-
pop out?
Yeah, they're hollow shields.
Oh, and Brigitte does have a giant flag on her back.
Oh, yeah. See, both flag
Yep.
bearers.
Flags, yep.
Yeah.
Flags.
Paladins go home. Facebook pulled a proof-of-concept demonstration of Epic Games' new VR shooter, Bullet Train, this week. It was being shown at the Conservative Political Action Conference, an event at which the NRA made a fiery speech about gun control. Hugo Barra, Facebook's VP of VR, said, quote, "A few of the games can include violence. In light of the recent events in Florida and out of respect for the victims and their families, we have removed them from this demo. We regret that we failed to do so in the first place."
Fair enough. I mean, that's an interesting stand for them to take, especially at CPAC, but...
That's kind of what I thought. Yeah, specifically there, but all right. I mean,
erring
on the side of caution?
If your conscience is going to itch at you, you might as well get out in front of that, so...
Also in Blizzard news, they are set to release a new tournament feature for Hearthstone that will allow players to create and run their own tournaments. Hearthstone, of course, already has a strong competitive scene, and Blizzard points out this new feature is geared more towards the casual player and smaller communities. So for this, I defer to our resident card game expert. What do you think?
Chris?
Fatty. I didn't even realize they are adding a new tournament mode to Hearthstone.
How much have you been playing? I mean, I know...
I mean, not terribly a lot, but I guess that was one of the things I overlooked when they did all these new announcements and stuff.
Oh my gosh, bunch of stuff coming out. Today he finally broke up with Yu-Gi-Oh! Duelists.
Duel Links, yes.
Whatever. He's not playing that game anymore.
Because the game is too predatory with their in-game purchases. Like, it's really hard to get the currency to actually you can use to spend to buy packs in-game. And they have, like, 150 to 200 card sets coming out every other month, and the off months have like 100 card set. And some of these sets have like meta-defining archetypes in them. And so if you want to have to be able to stay competitive in the metagame, you have to buy you have to buy and just keep putting more and more money into it. Like, there's no feasible way you can stay up to date with all these new sets that are coming out.
Which you weren't doing because you're a responsible parent who has a baby now that you have to take care of.
Well, I mean, I used to do it, but then once I noticed how quickly they're coming out, I'm like, this is ridiculous. I'm not going to spend money on this because I have to spend, like, I was spending a modest amount of money on it using, my blow money, my money that I have to spend on anything. That's what it's called.
That's what you call it?
Yes, it's called money that you have for guilt-free spending. Like, every week, you give you like $10, $20, and you can just spend on whatever you want. You don't feel guilty about it because you've budgeted that out.
Chris is not doing drugs,
which I know
everyone.
that absolutely nobody else does.
Fuck no!
Yeah, because they're retards.
I just spend if it's in my pocket. If I have it, it's gone.
He budgets his blow money. Just that statement alone is so good.
Yeah. All right. So I would use my blow money for card packs, and then when I realized that I had to spend more money than I was getting in, they're like, no, this is ridiculous. And a little bit of
he mathed it out?
Yeah. He probably has a spread.
Oh my God.
Of course I have a spreadsheet.
I mean, he is the money guy. I don't put it past him.
Why do you guys not have spreadsheets for everything? Like, I have a spreadsheets for all my deliveries.
Because I'm not a fucking nerd.
Wait, you have spreadsheets for your delivery for work?
Yeah.
Why?
How does that even work?
So I can see how much money I take in every week. Which, by the way...
they don't tell you when you get your paycheck how much money you got?
I mean, they would if... Well, I won't go there. But let's just say that I have to keep track of my own money that I take in every week because other people don't need to know about it. Anyway.
Blow money.
Because reasons. Okay.
Anyway, what I was saying is, in that Yu-Gi-Oh game, they announced this big special new pack of cards that's coming out. It's like you get one every week for the week of March. You get one pack for free, and it's super special and super awesome. You guys have got to look forward to it. It was really, really awful cards that came out of those pack.
And everybody got them?
Everyone got one card. And most of the time, it was like a normal card that they already had 8 of. For 90% of people. And people are on Reddit and they are bitching up a storm.
So now you're going back to Hearthstone, though?
Yeah, oh, definitely. Do we know anything about this new tournament mode? Because
we were asking you, dipshit.
Well, I don't know anything about it, to be honest.
Clearly.
But I wonder if it's going to be something more like this, the latest tavern brawl that they have, the Brawliseum. And basically,
I'm sorry, go back. It's called a Brawliseum.
Yeah, because it features the wild format instead of the standard format. Wild format has all the cards you can use versus the standard format, which only has the latest 2 years of Hearthstone. Yeah. Okay, so anyway.
I tapped out at Brawliseum.
Why?
I mean, that's kind of a clever pun.
It's a Coliseum you have brawls in.
I mean, isn't that what a Coliseum is?
Oh, he's walking away
anyway. My initial thought upon hearing this new tournament feature is that I think it might be more like that, where you can actually put money into more competitive matches for better rewards. Because at the moment, if you want to play standard or wild, it's just like going up the ladder and there's no real stakes to it. It's just more of a grind. But if this actually has you have to put money into it to start playing it, like you do an arena, that would actually be a really cool thing. Which I have complaints about with Hearthstone, because this is a multi-million-dollar product, and Blizzard is so far behind in new modes and stuff. You can't even edit how your decks appear in their list. You have to manually delete each one and then put them back in if you want to actually do that. You can edit where your games appear on the Blizzard launch thing, on the little app thing. You can edit where your games, the order of them. You can't even do that in Hearthstone.
Why haven't you started doing a card game stream or podcast yet?
Why?
Yeah.
That's a lot of talking.
Which you're doing right now.
Well, yeah, I'm doing
And
it right now.
you're clearly very passionate about it.
I clearly don't have... I need someone to, like, bounce off of, and I know you don't play. And good Lord, you can't get Nate to even play a Pokemon card game. You're not going to be able to play normal card games.
You have so many friends who play... Wait a minute. We actually have someone in our viewership that is like a Hearthstone regular and has actually been to a few tournaments.
Don't even say it.
Why don't you ask him?
No.
Volkai, you can email Chris or get a hold of him on Facebook and see if maybe...
No. Rejected.
Okay, going on.
Man, so not cool.
SEGA has once again set the bar for incompetence. Last week, they were set to release the demo of Yakuza 6. However, they accidentally released the entire game, and as a result, had to pull the demo quickly. Fans looking forward to the demo were pissed.
Oh yeah, my husband is so pissed.
So were people that got the full game? Do they
still have the full game?
Do they get to have the full game now?
They do, but like people are like posting all over the forums, like, I promise you, I won't play it. I'll delete it, like, because they're scared they're gonna get banned for playing the full game. Like, it's a big, because SEGA does shit like that, I guess.
What?
So like, apparently, what my husband was saying is that if you downloaded the game and let the full update install or whatever, the demo, what it would do is install the full game, and then the update would just block out the rest of the game that's not the demo. So if you shut off your PlayStation in the middle of the upload, it just wouldn't
you wouldn't
download all that data, and it would just give you the full game. So like,
okay,
that's hilarious.
So wait. What exactly are people pissed about then? Because you said that they still get to play what was essentially the demo.
The demo's down. So basically, my husband comes home from school at like 4, 5, and tries to download it, and it's gone because
so if you
never got to download it.
If you didn't download it, then it's gone forever for right now.
And also, people are really scared that if they play past the part that the demo lets you play, that they're going to ban you because the game's not supposed to come out until April 17th.
Okay, well, but if the
But how is that, how is that any of the user's fault, though?
Yeah, well, I mean...
I don't know. I mean, I just feel like that SEGA's done shit like this in the past, and people are scared. They're posting all over their forums, like, please, I won't play it. Like, I'll delete it right now. Like, they're really scared.
If the
Fuck
full
it.
game
If
is
you
ready to
have
go
it,
out,
if you have it, stream it. Have some grow some balls and stream it.
Well, not to mention, I feel like if the full game is apparently done, right? SEGA should have just embraced it and been like, you know what? Fuck it. Yeah, it's out now, guys. Here you go.
Well, no, there was something, because the game's been out in Japan for like a year. The reason they originally delayed it from March till April to work on some sound stuff or whatever. So like, I don't know if the version you get has all of the day one like updates and stuff that they would give in the initial download patch. So I don't know if this is the full release of the game yet.
Well, way to go, SEGA.
I'm just listen. Like, with all of the dumb bullshit that Atlas has pulled with streamers, this is an opportunity for the streaming community to hit one back at SEGA. Just saying. I'm not going to be... I mean, obviously, I'm not buying Yakuza 6, so I don't have it.
They're actually really fun games, way more than I expected them to be.
I really hope that if anyone does that, they like do up this whole shtick like they're Dr. X and they're like sticking it to the man. That'd be great. This next one is for you, Nate. Rhino Stew Productions has released a home row typing tutor that will allow students to learn typing with, quote, everyone's favorite avant-garde director. However, it must be stated that David Lynch Teaches Typing is not actually in any way affiliated with the director himself.
That is awesome.
What the fuck? What? This is a game?
Yeah. I'm not surprised by this at all. I mean, people...
Can you explain it to me?
What are you looking for me to
have you ever
explain?
played a typing video game before?
No.
Like Mario Teaches Typing?
No, I didn't know that was the thing until someone emailed us about it. Answered one of Checkpoint Radio's social media questions. Checkpoint,
yeah, like there used to be like
Facebook,
some of them, never any licensed characters, but like when I was in high school, we had a computer class where we were forced to use this like video game that would teach you to type, and you had to follow the characters. And like I've played,
dude, there was like Star Wars Teaches Typing and like Mavis Beacon. Mavis Beacon was a big
there's a
one
lot of
for
free
kids.
typing games too. There's one that I play sometimes because I'm a really fast typer and I like to compete. I'm very competitive. And there's one where you like race cars and you type, and like the faster you type, the farther your car goes, and whoever gets to the finish line first is like the winner. Like, there's so many typing games that exist. I'm just David Lynch is a little surprising.
Yeah, okay. All right.
I mean, like, there's with Twin Peaks coming back onto television, like David Lynch kind of re-entered the pop culture bloodstream in a big way. And I'm not surprised. Like there's a fan made VR Twin Peaks VR project that's going on right now. Ooh. So I have to imagine that he's teaching you to type very odd words, and then when you type them, something weird happens.
What do you think?
Am I somewhere in the fucking ballpark? I think you'd think it's funny.
All right, cool.
He's got a really, really like solid sense of humor. So I think he'd think that it was strange and offbeat and hilarious.
All right, well, cool. Fair enough, though. Can we all look forward to you streaming it?
No, probably not.
If someone gets me a copy of it, I'll do it.
A 16-year-old sophomore in Illinois was ordered by a judge to cease playing violent video games. This came after he posted a video on Snapchat of him playing violent video games and threatening, quote, "Y'all need to shut up about school shootings or I'll do one." The judge in the case said, quote, "You can play Mario Kart all you want."
That's just going to turn him even
Actually,
faster
Mario
into a
Kart's
shooter.
pretty violent, though. You throw shells and bombs and you explode people? I don't know.
There's a reason it's one of the games that ends friendships.
I listen, I'm going to kind of side with the judge on this one. Don't post dumb shit like that on social media. Fucking idiots.
Yeah.
Dummies.
Yeah, definitely
Dummies.
this kid, something needs to be done about him. So he posted that on his Snapchat. Schoolmate obviously called the cops. They, brought him in and blah, 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 and stuff like that. But, I mean, okay, telling him not to play violent video games, like, what's that going to do, really?
I mean, at this point, because he's already old enough and he has his opinions, I don't think his continuation of playing violent video games will make a difference in the long run at this point in his life.
Yeah.
But
I mean,
I don't know.
Has anyone ever been barred from watching violent movies?
No, I don't think so.
I mean,
because, they don't actually...
In a legal sense. Because, I mean, like, before video games, there were other scapegoats in media. So has anyone ever been ordered to listen to nothing but Frank Sinatra records?
Is this even something that you can enforce beyond, like, telling the parents, like, you need to ground him off video games?
That's actually a very good question.
But
if he's ever caught, like, anyone could probably turn him in, like his friends, his parents, anybody, and he could get in big ass trouble.
How do you enforce that? Like, where's the law though, or in the law? Like, what is that under? What are you violating by? Oh, you know what? I saw you on PSN last night, and it said that you were playing Fortnite.
Okay, it's probably the judge gave him like a choice. Like, okay, so you can either not play violent video games anymore, or we can just ship you off to jail. Which would you rather do? You rather not play violent video games, or not play violent video games and also be in jail?
Okay, I'm going to choose the video games, and then when I go home, I'm going to play Fallout 4 and blow people up.
Or I mean, go home and watch Rambo First Blood. You know what I mean? Like, what's the difference? What's the fucking difference at that point? Hell, watch an Avengers movie and tell me that that's not fucking violent.
Yeah,
I mean,
part
it
of the
is.
difference, I think, though, is the immersion of playing the character who's actually doing the actions. I think that's at least where it comes from the judge's mind.
Well, yes. I understand from the judge's point of view, or from anyone who thinks that games and movies and music cause violence. I get that from that point of view. But a random judge in a courtroom telling you when you go home you can't play video games anymore, how is that enforceable?
I mean, he would have to be on the parents and the people in his life.
Okay, right. So basically he's been grounded. How many of us have been grounded and totally did what we were supposed to do?
Yeah, but he's grounded forever.
Oh. That's the difference. Forever.
I mean, forever is I don't know. It's a little subjective.
I don't know. Just to me, this whole thing is kind of weird, and I don't even know how to really respond to it.
It definitely is weird. I mean, how do you...
I mean, I guess if you're caught, though, you'd get fined, you'd get sent to jail for doing it. So I guess you don't want to risk getting caught by someone.
I mean, because there is also the distinction of, like, he's like, play as much Mario Kart as you want. Like, either ban, I either take someone away from video games altogether, or because it just does seem really unenforceable.
Here's something to where I think this would make a lot more sense. If yes, they took all video games away, confiscated them from the premise, and then put him under some kind of house arrest. That way, you can't leave to go get more video games, and at least in a sense, I just feel like that's more in line with some type of actual punishment that's maybe covered by the law. Just the idea that, no, you can't play no more violent video games seems so arbitrary.
What was the duration that, how long can he not play video games for?
I don't know that it gave a duration. Let me double check here really quick, though.
I mean, because that seems like, okay, for 2 years, yeah, you can probably...
Until you're an adult, basically.
Yeah, you can probably keep up on that. But I mean, yeah, it does raise questions on whether or not it's enforceable. But then again, at the same time, the kid was making vague threats over Instagram.
No, you definitely have to take it seriously.
But he said dumb shit over social media, which is something that happens all the fucking time. So, I guess there's also a question of does the punishment fundamentally fit the crime? Does taking away violent video games from him deter him from another violent action?
No, I don't think so. Or if it was something he was going to do, I think Nika sort of brought this point up a little bit. And no, I think banning isn't going to necessarily stop anything that would have already been set in motion. A few more details here. The police did search the boy's home, turned up no weapons. The parent said they didn't keep any weapons at home, and the judge had ordered him to turn over his phone to his parents and banned him from playing violent video games.
Yeah,
that's it.
That seems fairly unenforceable.
Yeah, I mean, kind of.
And a little weird. I mean, I don't know.
I mean, it was in Illinois.
Yeah, that's true.
I mean, it literally just sounds like this judge grounded him.
Yeah, kind of.
Well, obviously the parents can't do a good enough job, so judge has to step in.
Well, wait, hey, hang on. Let's not jump all over the parents, because what actually happened here? He was playing something violent, filmed himself on Instagram, and said, if y'all don't shut up about school shootings, I'm going to do one. Okay? That's the sequence of events. Think of how easy it is to do that. Acquiring a cache of weapons and making plans. There's a lot that's involved in that. You know what I mean? Mm-hmm. There's that kid in Florida, right? There's a lot of points where
he should have been stopped or caught.
Right. Okay. This kid did a dumb thing over social media. How much dumb shit have you done in front of a camera in your life?
And before you answer that, think to every single Sunday you come and sit down in that exact spot.
But I mean, dude, I think back, because when I was growing up, Jackass was a huge thing. And so me and my friends, you're when you hear about it as an adult, you go, oh yeah, kids copy what they see on TV. And, when you're growing up, you're like, yeah, no, I didn't do any of that. No, fuck that. We tried to replicate Jackass stunts, almost on a 1-to-1 ratio. Okay?
Oh, I can tell you, I see it all the time as a teacher. Even the small kids, even if from anything from the words, the vocabulary, the actions, even just hearing kids use catchphrases from Ninja Turtles and all these little things that pick up. And especially if you have kids with any kind of disorder or disability, I hear kids with autism completely replicating really scary things that they hear on television. And, it's really hard to decide then where the lines are, but it's 100% kids copy everything. Not only do they copy things they see on TV, but they copy the adults around them. They copy everything.
But if I had
that's what kids do.
If I had the ability to instantly broadcast all of that dumb shit that I did when I was a kid, there's a good chance I'd either be in jail or that I'd be halfway Facebook famous,
grounded forever,
like Steve-O for swallowing goldfish. You know what I mean? Like, it would have been something fucking retarded. And if that's what you get known for, that's what you keep trying to outpace yourself. And that's why all of the jackass dudes are either in rehab or dead or, in rehab. Like, that seems to be one of the two paths for jackass stars, is rehab or the grave. And I'm thankful, because we did dumb shit in front of cameras, but I'm thankful that we didn't have the ability to easily broadcast
instantly upload
that.
from your phone, boom, it's on the internet.
Because you don't even, a lot of times you don't even think about it, or you do it and then you think about it after you've done it. You know what I mean? And that's much more likely in this case. Now, I see getting violent video games taken away not as a way to curb his behavior, because I don't think he had very much violent behavior that the courts could try to claim. He didn't have weapons. He wasn't acting out.
Planning anything.
Right. It was a dumb moment over social media. So taking away violent video games seems much more like a punishment. When you frame it like that, then it makes sense. And then I'm like, oh, okay, yeah, take that dumbass's entertainment away. Because if you can't be responsible with it, get the fuck off until you learn how to be responsible with it. I mean, look, dude, media training and just being taught how to interact with media is something that schools have been putting off for way too long. I got a really good media education growing up, care of a teacher named Dr. Learmont, who I had in high school, who taught the basics of media. Not how to make media, but how to responsibly consume media. And I still, to this day, as a 33-year-old adult, think that may have been the most important class that I ever took growing up in school.
When you frame it, some of it that way, I guess the situation itself really isn't that weird, but I guess just the way the whole thing was framed, or maybe it's because of the way that we're currently looking at gun violence and stuff. It seems smaller in comparison. I don't know. All right, well, to each their own, I suppose. Much to everyone's surprise, Outlast suddenly appeared on the Nintendo Switch this week. The 2013 horror title from Red Barrel Studios had already been announced, along with 2017's Outlast 2 to be coming to the Switch, but we hadn't heard any new information in quite some time. The Switch version comes bundled together with Outlast and its prequel DLC, Whistleblower. Did anyone think a year ago, when the Switch had first came out, that we'd start to see horror games where you get fingers and penises cut off on it?
Yeah.
Oh, you did?
Yeah, kind of. I mean, when you have an architecture on your system that allows for third-party development or the adaptation of third-party games, I had a feeling that, yeah, we would see a much larger library for the Switch.
Remember when Bayonetta 2 coming out on the Wii U was a big deal? And now we have this.
Well, yeah, I mean, that I think has more to do with just, Nintendo's appearance as a kid company.
Right, yeah. That's true.
But I mean...
And with it being an exclusive, that was a big...
Well, and yeah, that too. But I mean, I think that Nintendo is definitely, with the Wii and the Wii U, taken that kid-only approach as far as they possibly can. And they need to now,
just be a gaming platform.
Exactly, yeah. Which they haven't been in a very, very long time. When was the last time that a Nintendo console was like a legit, like SNES?
Super Nintendo?
Yeah. I mean, it was the game. I think
I'd say the 64.
Really? 64?
Yeah, because actually, you know what? I think I had more games that I enjoyed playing on my 64 than I think I did on my PlayStation.
Yeah, but when you compare third-party development PlayStation to Nintendo, even at N64, sorry,
well, see, that's where I think it first started to drop off, because that's also when the first one that comes to mind is Square Enix bailed out and hooked up with Sony.
That's why I got to say Super Nintendo.
Yeah, that was... Yeah.
Because, I mean, you think about SEGA. SEGA also had very strong third-party development as well, but...
They were a lot more evenly matched, though.
Yeah.
Compared to 64 and PlayStation.
Yeah, because the GameCube was the first Nintendo system that I didn't even care about, like, at all.
Yeah. Yeah, for sure.
Yeah.
For sure. I mean, that was the first time where it was really kind of a clear winner. Because I had a 64 and a PlayStation.
Mm-hmm.
And then... when between PS2 and GameCube, it was like, oh, dude, there's not even
no competition whatsoever.
No,
GameCube wins.
Yeah, fuck off.
It had a handle. It was the first mobile console.
Oh my gosh, shut up. One of the strangest DMCA battles we've seen recently took place between the creator of Super Seducer and YouTuber Chris Hodgkinson, who does a series called The Worst Video Game Ever. Following a spat over Super Seducer's appearance on the show, the developer DMCA'd the video. He later apologized, sent $50 to account for missed revenues, and pulled the DMCA. Chris, in return, declined the $50 and said to give it to charity.
Okay, so can we first agree that this is the worst, like one of the worst video games ever made?
I mean, have you
It was
played
on the show, The Worst Video Games Ever Made, so I'm inclined to believe so.
No, I haven't played it. Do you know what it is, though?
I mean, I assume it's something about seducing.
It is. It's basically like creepy dude, like those pickup artist guys. It's basically a video game of trying to use those tactics shoved inside of a dating sim.
Oh, wow.
Yeah. Yeah. Which many of them are like borderline rapey.
Oh, yeah. I can imagine so.
Like I forget the screenshot that I saw, and I don't even know if this is a real screenshot, like full transparency, but I assumed it was a screenshot from the game because it would make sense. It was in an article about the game. But one of the options that you could select was like aggressively rub your genitals at her.
Oh my God.
At her?
At her. At her.
Okay, so we're not technically in the rape zone yet.
The rape zone?
That's still sexual harassment.
It sure is.
Maybe we have. That's up for the courts to decide, but it's not the rape zone yet, right?
What?
It's close enough.
I think what Chris is saying is, what if he wasn't rubbing them at her, but someone behind her?
Or at, like, a bird on the wall or something.
Why is there a bird on the wall?
It's Super Seducer. Anything goes.
I think Juxta, I really want you to play this game and review it. And I mean, I don't think you can play it on Twitch.
You probably can't play it. I just can't stream it.
I don't think you can stream it, but you could probably post it to like one of our YouTube channels.
Record it, not on stream.
Right.
And then post it along with a review.
Yeah.
How much are you paying me?
Nothing.
A nickel.
We got a nickel. Do I hear a dime? Do I have a dime? We have a nickel so far. A dime. Somebody in the chat. Do we have a dime? Do we have a dime? Do I super?
I'm sure someone
in the chat might donate some for you to do.
Yeah.
What's your price? I think is the question.
Hi.
Hello.
To play Super
What's your
Seducer?
And review it?
We can make it into a show. There, boom.
Make it into a show.
Yeah. It could be an entire episode
where you take us through Super Seducer. Yeah, let's be real. Why are we letting people like this create video games?
Is this actually the worst video game ever?
I mean,
inquiring minds need to know.
I'm inclined to say yes, but that's just my opinion.
Was it the worst game ever?
It sounds pretty bad.
Honestly, it was a series.
If you're featured on the on the series, then you're definitely in the running.
You know what? Maybe we can also get Callie to come back, and it can be like sort of like a dual review where you talk about Super Seducer, right? Is it the worst game? And we have to compare it up to Bubsy.
Oh, there you go. There you go.
I feel like
a super crossover special episode.
How about we get Callie back on, but we speed run it? Let's see who can win first.
Ugh.
See who can aggressively rub their genitals at the other person first.
I mean, I honestly, like, I would do like a split screen and like like play it at the same time.
Yeah.
Yeah. That'd be funny. Like, I think it would be legitimately funny.
I'll give you $5.
$5.
And a nickel. So you got 505 so far.
That's not
Harvey Weinstein. Thank you, Harvey. Appreciate it. By the way, are the...
I mean, it was up, yeah.
Okay.
Yeah.
All right, just checking.
So this next story isn't getting any better, guys.
Well, hang on. Before we move on from this, because this reminded me of another thing that I saw this past week. Of like, do you guys know what an incel is?
No.
INCEL?
You mean an
I feel like I've
insole?
seen that written somewhere.
Like
incel.
It's the thing in like the foot and the shoe.
No.
No, I don't know.
No, this is worse than that. And they smell worse than that.
That's
Well, I
an
mean, they're
insole.
good things though.
Okay, an incel stands for involuntary celibate. Basically, these are dudes that can't get fucked. They can't get laid. They are involuntarily celibate.
Oh, okay. Oh,
there we go.
Okay. So probably the guy who made this game.
Yeah, probably.
Okay.
So, like socially.
Yes.
Oh, I thought you were like talking like mutilation or something.
No.
Okay. Now
Wait. Why did it go there? That's a weird place to take it.
Technically, if someone gets mutilated in their genitals,
it's involuntary.
Yeah,
they didn't volunteer for it.
Well, hopefully.
Yeah.
Okay.
Scarrow might volunteer.
That took it to a really weird area.
Anyway, continue, please.
So apparently incels are like incel websites and blogs are a fucking thing.
So people have to Google incel like to find these for themselves, right?
Well, they're like communities. Like I'm sure that there's like an incel Reddit community and they share tips on like living ugly, I guess. I don't know. I don't really know what these communities are.
That is kind of fascinating, though.
It is fascinating, but there was a post that came from one of these incel communities that was talking about this dude getting off on the power of freaking a girl out, not by actually stalking her, but by making her think
post.
That he's
it was
stalking
going around
her.
Facebook.
Yes.
Wait, what?
Okay, so
yes.
So this dude is talking about the that thing that happens where like if you're just walking and there's a girl who's like walking ahead of you and she thinks that you might be following her and she starts to speed up a little bit, most normal human beings would go, oh man, that makes me feel really bad. That girl thinks that I'm like a threat to her. And at least in my case, I would fuck off. You know what I mean?
Yeah.
Like walking back from a library late at night on campus, for example, right? You would give that person space. You wouldn't like be like really like trying to
all up on.
Exactly. What this post was talking about that same moment, except finding power in that, where it's like, she knows your face and she's afraid of you as long as you don't act on any impulses.
Yeah, as long as you don't actually rape her, you just scare her.
Oh, what a fucking I read that and my skin crawled.
Okay,
You talked about getting off on the idea that you're scaring her.
Yeah.
By pretending to stalk her.
That's
I
By
feel like
pretending to stalk her.
at that point, it is stalking. It is. In that moment,
Yeah, but in his
you are
head,
now
he
stalking.
knows he's not actually going to follow her very far, and he's also not actually going to rape her. So in his
But she
mind,
doesn't know
he's just-
that.
Yes, she doesn't know that.
She doesn't
so
know
you're
that.
getting off on the idea that she thinks you're going to rape her, but you're not.
That just sounds like 2 years before actually stalking and raping someone.
That's yes. Yeah. That is early signs of that sort of behavior. That sort of
And
obsessive
he's like, I would
behavior.
never condone rape, but this is kind of fun. You should try it.
No, it's not.
I was like, what?
It's not.
Wow.
Listen, dude,
Yeah, it's
I'm
weird.
Listen, I'm a big dude and I carry myself
Sluggishly.
No, like I mean, like I can be intimidating. I know how intimidating I can be. The beard, especially in college, the way that I used to dress in college with all the punk rock gear and shit like that. Yeah, dude, I knew how I came off to people, and so when you're in a situation like that, dude, why would you try to downplay that or like find power in that?
Because you're fucked up.
I've been in that situation where it's like I can tell I'm freaking somebody out and I don't want to do that. You know what I mean? Like I I would feel bad about that. I used to feel bad about that. One of my favorite things when I was dressing like that was the surprise that people would find in interacting with me and me being a normal human being. Like I used to get that remark a lot, where people would be like, dude, I thought you would be a fucking weird guy, but you're super normal. I'm like, yeah, just into weird shit. You know, like that I always thought was really cool because it's disarming, you know, like it makes people think that you're one way and then you're like the total opposite. I like that. I like projecting something,
challenging their perceptions.
Yes, challenging. That's exactly it. Yeah. And but this is just fucking creepo behavior, like all the way. There's no way that behavior is healthy. And it shouldn't be encouraged.
Yeah, no, that's fucked up.
No.
It should not be encouraged. I mean, like, even in these sad incel fucking websites, like, that shit should be called out for what it is. Like, that is borderline behavior. Like, that's not okay.
No, it's not.
And in a story that we here at Final Encountercast call a Chris, a YouTube channel called Butt Plugin with Q Dot is dedicated to using video games to further the sex toy experience. QDOT tweaks Bluetooth-enabled sex toys to respond to the rumble command that video games send out, and, well, we'll leave the rest to your imaginations. One guess.
So you
where do you think this came from? Where do you think this came from? What website?
4chan?
I don't know.
It came from Motherboard.
Oh, of course. Of course.
So, did you put this on the outline, Chris?
Not to my knowledge.
Okay, I was going to say, I don't think
Not
you
to
did.
my knowledge?
I was going to say, I wouldn't really call this a Chris, because this actually is in some way related to gaming.
Video games. Actual video games, not just like tangentially.
Yeah.
Do you want to try that word again?
Tangentially? Tangentially?
No.
Genitals.
No.
Try again.
You want to...
Tangentially.
No.
Vegetally?
Are we... I mean...
I give up.
I kind of... Oh, okay.
I give up.
You sure? It's tangentially.
Oh, that's what I said.
You didn't
no,
say
the
that.
TIAL you had incorrect.
Didn't say that at all.
TIAL?
Tangential.
You worked Vegeta in there at some point. I was waiting for like a Tangela reference or like...
Pokemon's old. You gotta go with the Overwatch reference.
But that wasn't an Overwatch reference either. That was a Dragon Ball reference.
Brigida?
You said Vegeta.
Yeah.
Well, yeah, then I said Tangita. I mean, I think that ends in Jita is now Overwatch related.
No.
What?
What?
Oh my god.
Does anybody want to actually comment on this actual butt plugin with QDOT?
QDOT seems like a cool person.
Is it it's a girl, right?
Maybe you should go find out.
I'm actually surprised this is like something that we're just hearing about. I feel like this shit has probably existed for a long time.
Yeah, probably.
Like, when you think about it.
It probably did, but I think maybe only recently someone was like, you know what, if I do this in the right way,
I could make
I could
money
totally
off
have it on YouTube.
Yeah.
Does anybody remember the...
But probably not Twitch.
Oh, I'm gonna upset. I'm gonna upset a lot of people who blanked this out of their memory but have seen it. But does anybody remember the video of the chick doing the blowjob with the grapefruit?
Oh yeah.
Didn't show anything, so it was technically all right, I guess. That's ugh. Okay, an AI program used
all right, thanks for that.
trial and error to find a loophole in the coding of Qbert and racked up massive amounts of points. Interestingly, it appears to be a loophole no human had yet discovered. By jumping to seemingly random tiles, a bug was exploited that caused the AI to gain a ton of points and basically beat this game quicker than anyone has before, I think. So,
I mean...
good job, AI. This is the one.
Why?
This is the AI that takes over the world.
Why? I mean, but why Qbert? What is it about Qbert that was so special? I don't even know that I've ever played a game of Qbert.
What?
Yeah.
I haven't either. Even though
Oh my God.
I'm pretty sure I
haven't
had Qbert.
On the Atari? Have you guys never had an Atari before?
My grandma had one. Yeah.
Yeah, I had it.
You didn't have you didn't have a Qbert for it?
Wasn't there a Qbert on the NES as well?
I mean, probably.
Yeah.
Probably,
Actually,
yeah.
I think that's probably what I had it on. Yeah. But no, I
Yeah.
never played it.
I just I don't know.
The controls are really hard. They were.
What was the point of the game?
To jump on all the tiles. It was like this 3D isometric staircase, I guess, and you had to jump on every single tile while avoiding bad guys touching you.
Okay.
So they used the computer program to jump to random tiles rather than ones you can
Well,
actually attain as a
the
human
computer
player.
program did that itself. It
Yeah.
found the loophole itself.
Right, and a human player wouldn't have been able to jump to those particular
No.
tiles.
Just never found it.
Or just people have just never done it.
Yeah, I guess.
Oh, okay.
Weird. Yeah.
That doesn't make sense to me.
So here's my favorite news story of the week. So news broke last week that President Donald Trump was set to meet with leading video game industry experts to discuss the effects of violence in video games. Now that proposed summit looks to be falling apart because the ESA said, quote, "The ESA and our member companies have not received an invitation to meet with President Trump."
That may be an important aspect of setting up a meeting is to actually call the people that you
And
wanna
actually
talk
set
to.
up the meeting.
Yeah.
Yep.
All right, well, just because you weren't invited doesn't mean other video game people weren't invited.
No,
the ESA represents, what is it, 40-some of the top industry, Sony, Microsoft, Nintendo.
Okay, well, President Trump is going to meet with Jack Thompson because he is the expert on video games.
If they're not calling the ESA, who the fuck are they calling? I mean, not saying that they are.
Some random self-proclaimed video game psychologist, and they're like, I could tell you the effects of gaming, but I'm actually in their pocket, so I'm going to tell you all the shit that you want to hear.
Yeah, that sounds about right.
See, there you go.
Yeah.
Dude, I don't even know what to say about this anymore.
and the thing is, the ESA has released a statement, basically, besides saying, well, they haven't reached out to us, but further kind of pointing out, there have been numerous studies that have shown that games, music, movies, violent ones, aren't linked in any way to violence, so we're not really sure what he expects us to do about it.
Dude,
could you imagine being a fly on the wall in that meeting if it were to take place?
I don't see it taking place. I don't see it happening ever.
Here's one of the quotes from Press Secretary Sarah Huckabee Sanders. So announced that the president.
Oh, good, that cockeyed bitch.
Announced that the president.
The fuck does she want with her stupid lazy eye?
Announced that the president planned to meet next week.
She's about 150 pounds more of woman than I can handle. Just saying.
I have a thick, meaty vagina.
That is accurate. Was that at the last press meeting? Was that
actually a direct quote,
an actual statement from her?
Yeah. Mm-hmm.
That's what I thought.
Anyway, Jesus. Quote that the reason they're meeting with the industry was to see what they can do on that front. That's what's on their agenda.
Good.
What can we do?
So she said quantifiably as much as the entire administration has.
Yeah.
What a fucking idiot.
Yep. So again, that broke last week. So that meeting should be happening hopefully pretty soon. Question mark?
Is it? I don't think it is. I don't see it happening.
Okay.
So I don't know. I don't even know.
And here's the thing, because every website's covered this. Kotaku, The Verge, I've seen it on Polygon.
What about Motherboard?
I'm sure Motherboard has. And basically, they've all covered the exact same stuff. They're like, yeah, this is supposed to happen, but
nobody knows about it.
Nobody knows about it.
Literally nobody knows about it. Question mark?
It
is bizarre. I mean, but this is like Like, isn't this kind of what we've become used to in this country?
I was just going to say, is this really that bizarre?
Classic Trump.
Yeah, kind of. If you want to give us a call, Final Encounter Cast on Skype, 810-207-1764. We'd love to hear from you. Give us a call about anything. You want to celebrate 100 episodes? If you want to bitch about Sarah Huckabee Sanders and her stupid ass. If you want to bitch about Trump, I don't give a shit. Give us a call. We're celebrating 100 episodes. One other thing that I wanted to mention, I didn't mean to do that. Take away all of our cameras. One other thing that I wanted to talk about, because of course, as we had mentioned at the beginning of the show, the origins of this show and the origins of us all working together have been it really started at Central Michigan University, especially the four of us, because all four of us here are all alumni of Central Michigan University.
Wait, do you have to graduate to be alumni?
No, you went there. That's
okay.
Okay, good.
Close enough. So this past week, it was really shocking to hear about the shooting that happened on campus at CMU.
Yeah.
So basic outline of events. Kid was acting erratic that lived in Campbell Hall.
Just was released from the hospital that morning, I believe.
Yes, was
for like a drug overdose.
Allegedly, he was. What it was is that he was acting erratic. He had contacted police. Police said he's not making any sense and sent him to the hospital, thinking that he was on drugs. He got released from the hospital. His parents were called. His dad was a police officer, and there's security cam footage that shows him going out to the car, getting his dad's service revolver, and then shooting both of them in Campbell Hall. Super alarming that, again, because Mount Pleasant is a very, very small town.
It's very homey.
Yeah, kind of sleepy. Like there's just.
It's funny. It's a college town in the middle of cornfields, so
it's a college. It's a college town that has decent parties, but for like the best parties, everyone went to Michigan State University. You know what I mean? Like we would drive down to MSU for the good parties, right? Like that's how small of a college it was. I would stay summers up there. And when the college kids were gone, dude, that town
was dead.
It was there's like nothing happening, and I liked it that way. I actually liked it that small.
Like we had to drive like 40 minutes to get to a shopping mall. It was pretty like out to Midland.
Right? Yeah, you had to go out to
middle of
Midland or St. Clair or even Saginaw, and so when you hear about something like this, I mean, first of all, it is shocking. I think the second thing is like, dude, if this issue is so widespread that it's affecting our little college town, then you know what I mean? Like this is like it's insane that after Newtown, after Florida, after countless shootings that have happened in the last 10 years, that we can't get a decent conversation about gun control, about guns, or about violence. It all gets obscured like Trump is trying to do right now. It all gets obscured behind scapegoating and, well, it's not this, it's that. It's not guns, it's mental health. And it's not mental health, it's video games. I mean, like, dude, where does this shit stop? Like, can we just stop with the bullshit? Like, they're all components in this collective sickness that we have inside of us called violence. I mean, that seems to me to be what is happening. And I just, like I'm fucking tired of it. Like I'm getting fatigued by all of this. And like, dude, I never thought in a million fucking years, that I would turn on CNN and I would see helicopter footage of the fucking college that I graduated from.
Yep.
Never in a million years.
It was pretty surreal.
Fucking bizarre.
Yeah, see, no. One of the it's obviously a conversation that's happening for a while now, and actually on one of our previous shows, and also on Checkpoint Radio, one of the things that I've been advocating for is that we all, as a society, have to start looking at whatever we can do. There isn't just one thing, right? Because in the case of the Central Michigan shooting, like you said, the kid went down and got his father's service revolver.
Yeah, it wasn't even like he
who's
bought
a
one
cop.
illegally. Yep.
So, I mean, would any
let's arm teachers,
gun
guys, 'cause the
laws
kids
or
couldn't
anything
take the
had
guns from the teachers.
prevented that in any way, right?
Yeah.
But now someone will look at that and go, oh, see, we put gun laws in effect, wouldn't have stopped it. So we might as well not do it at all for anything. But the point is that sometimes it might primarily or only be mental health. Sometimes it might be the fact that they got their hands on assault weapons when they should have been stopped. Sometimes it might have been that the FBI didn't do their due diligence, or that the Air Force didn't report that someone was discharged for domestic violence. There is an assortment of problems that lead up to it, and no single one thing will fix it. But that doesn't mean that we don't start plugging up all the leaks as we find them. And what really upsets me the most is, we came to the table and we're like, all right, you know what? We'll do something about it, right? If we have to do something about it, if it's some minor convenience like 10% tax levy on violent games,
Sure.
or they're stricter in when they rate the games, or, you have to go through some process to get, it doesn't matter. I'm willing to do that to help be part of the answer. And so now, video games have once again entered the consciousness of the scapegoating, and everything else just been wiped off the table. It's like, all right, we're doing something about the video games. It's good. We're done. Let's call it a day. It's bullshit.
Yeah. Yeah. And that's, I think you had brought that point up on either one of our previous episodes or on Checkpoint, that it's like, like one small thing gets done, or someone talks about doing one small thing, and it's like everyone goes, okay, cool, we're good. Like after Las Vegas, it was sort of like, oh, NRA's open to banning bump stocks. It never even happened, but everyone went, oh, okay, good. Let's move on. Let's go to the next thing. Until you end up seeing your little sleepy town on the fucking news on CNN.
And despite even seeing that, you're still feeling this fatigue from the conversation, which I feel is something that those who don't want these changes to happen rely on. Let's just push it off and wait long enough until everybody's sick and tired of talking about it.
I think that's the gaslighting.
Oh yeah, absolutely.
Where people will obscure facts to try to make a point and throw you off your point, and then the conversations start to devolve, and people do get very fatigued at that tactic, rightfully so. That's the point of that tactic, is for you to get frustrated and go, fuck this shit. And a lot of time, very smart people try to engage with this very stupid tactic.
Yeah.
Because it's, like that I think is also a big problem, is just the amount of gaslighting that gets put out there into the world, where you just don't know what to believe anymore, and you go, fuck, I've got to disengage and figure out where my compass is at to be able to even feel like I can have a foot in this debate. And I feel like that's what a lot of people do, is that, they withdraw from the debate because it's too hard.
And you're not making any progress.
No. I mean, we haven't been able to make progress on this in 30 years. I mean, it's been a long fucking time.
Yeah.
Usually,
honestly, even at this point, I would settle just for the CDC to be allowed to study gun violence, right? Because everyone says, oh, all this stuff. No, it's not what you think. Guns don't cause this. Let the CDC study it then to back up your proof, your claims.
Yeah.
Right?
Sure.
And at the very least, maybe we figure out some way to help everyone.
I mean,
that seems like such a small concession, just studying.
If you look at the data of other countries that have stricter gun laws, the amount of violence goes down. There does seem to be a data corollary between those two.
Pretty massive one.
Yeah.
Pretty massive one.
And I mean,
saw a study that came out from I'm sorry, I can't think of the name of the university, but came out and that had found that during NRA conventions, that in those areas during the NRA convention, gun violence drops. When all the gun lovers are at one place, apparently there's no violence anywhere.
unless someone, dares to question Leonard Skinnard, and then, suddenly you're in a Mexican standoff. I dare you to go to one of those gun shows and go, Kid Rock sucks my left nut, and tell me you don't get shot.
You'd probably get shot.
You're probably going to get shot. Let's be honest. Probably going to get shot.
But it was in self-defense, if we're being completely fair.
I mean, I can't go into the suburbs of Detroit and go, Kid Rock sucks my left nut without having a gun drawn on me.
I mean, he's from Detroit, right?
Yeah. But all the white people fucking love him. Oh my God, do white people love him? He's like the new.
I used to like him till he went like country.
He's like the new Ted Nugent.
That is a weird image.
Also from Detroit.
Didn't know that.
Didn't know Ted Nugent was a Detroit guy?
No.
I didn't either.
Yeah. Yep. We make some weird ones. I mean, we make some good ones, but we also make some weird ones. Iggy Pop's pretty awesome.
Madonna's from Michigan too, right?
Madonna, yeah.
Didn't know that one either. Wow.
Yeah.
Hey, we do okay.
Trying to think. There's someone.
We also have Eminem.
Yeah, Eminem. Yeah. Eminem's kicking
Didn't know that one.
Really? He's from 8 Mile.
That sucks.
You actually seen the movie?
There's a movie?
Yeah, it's called 8 Mile. I remember wanting to see that so bad as a kid. My parents wouldn't let me.
Give us a call. Final Encounter Cast on Skype, 810-207-1764. We'd love to hear from you. We're on episode number 100 here. And, we didn't really come prepared with much of a plan for today. We were just hoping that you guys might, call in. And
No one ever calls to this show.
Wow.
Despite it
I don't know
being
why.
a
Like,
call-in
nobody-
show.
It's like we're failing.
I know. Well, that's why the show is wrapping up.
That's why it's his last episode.
Yep.
It's a failing podcast.
Because it failed. It's done. It's not failing. It failed.
Only got one more podcast to fail, and then we'll be out of here.
What about our new one?
That's right. Yeah. I mean, we still got Checkpoint. That's got to fail. That's got to fail
about
not
Let's
just
Be
on a
Real?
podcast level. That's got to fail on a radio level, my friend.
Oh my gosh.
I know, right?
We have so much fail to get caught
We
up
have
back up on.
tons of failure in front of us. I'm so excited. Final Encounter Cast on Skype, 810-207-1764. If you want to call in on Discord, limitbreakradio.com/Discord is how you do that. We'll take your calls on Discord, because why the fuck not?
Why not?
Why not?
Terrible Pokemon.
But I mean, yeah, it's true. Why not is terrible. But anyway, over the course of 100 episodes here on Final Encounter Cast, I think that we've hit on some really good discussions, and we've had some really, really fun moments in how long have we been doing this? Like 2 years? 3 years?
Final Encounter Cast?
Yeah.
2 years.
2 years?
Yeah, because we're on episode 100, 52 weeks in a year, roughly 2 years.
Okay, so yeah.
Probably more than 2 years.
Yeah, a little bit more than 2 years. Because we took a couple of weeks off.
We take a few weeks off.
Yeah, not very many, though.
A few.
Yeah.
At least 4.
Okay.
Over the course of 2 years.
See, and, for all of the shit that people give us for Limit Break Radio and our various stages of engagement in Final Fantasy XIV, I think
that's such a nice way to put it. Varying stages of engagement.
It's very, very diplomatic, right? I think that, because especially that Johnny Bravo dude has been giving us a lot of shit on Twitter about the amount of money that we make from doing Limit Break Radio, and Apparently, he seems to be under the impression because we make money from it that we have to be praising it for some reason. Anyway, I just wanted to point out that most everyone who has ever helped support Limit Break Radio or the LBR Network or, anything else like that has been, has been helping grow the content. And I think that their expectations have been in content. So the fact that we've only taken off in 2 years, 4 episodes of Final Encounter Cast, that's what I think people judge us by. How many episodes are we putting out? How, are we keeping up on our promise that we made to keep continuing to make content? We never promised to be positive about FF14. We never promised to even continue playing FF14. What we promised to do was to make content in the way that we know how to do, which is a talk radio show for FF14 and elsewhere. That was the entire point of the Patreon, I think.
Well,
at least in my mind.
Absolutely, because if you remember, and we've pointed this out multiple times since we ourselves fell victim to this very premise, what happens when the game we talk about dies or stops?
Right.
Do people expect us to keep making a podcast about something that doesn't exist anymore?
Yes.
I mean,
No, we've said the whole idea, the whole reason we even created Final Encounter Cast, was when FF14 stops or when we stop, we have something else to pivot to. We have something else to support up, something else for you to listen to, other content, because games do not live forever.
Yeah, when we kind of measured sentiment in our community, whether people wanted more FF14 content from us or just more content from us, the answer was more content. It wasn't specific to FF14. In fact, people had requested other types of content, that we move on to other games because they were moving on to other games. So we had made a decision early on that unlike the Final Fantasy XI Limit Break Radio Network that focused on 11 content specifically, that we would try to broaden our horizons and try to move on. And I think that we've done that in spectacular fashion. Name anyone else that you could think of that would be able to get on 50 fucking radio stations. Name another show, another even podcast that would have the ability to transform their content and make it as compelling for radio as they do for podcasting.
State of the Realm.
I'm sorry. Have you?
No. I mean, dude, even a lot of the big Twitch shows that I watch, Dropped Frames. Dropped Frames is really maybe kind of the biggest one, but even Kind of Funny Games. I don't think that those dudes would have an easy time transitioning over to doing a radio product or even a TV product. There's so much that would have to change about the format of the way that they do their show. And we were able to make that transition super, super easily. A lot of that has to do with the way that, we produce shows and,
some of our backgrounds.
My day job and stuff like that. But that was always kind of the goal, was to be reaching for something bigger than just a podcast or just a podcast network.
Something that wouldn't live or die by a single property.
Right. Exactly. All right, let's go to our phone lines and talk to Volkai. What's going on, Volkai?
Hey, not too much. Just figured I'd say congrats on reaching 100 episodes on Final Encounter Cast.
Thank you.
Appreciate it.
Yeah. 100 episodes is a big deal. A lot of podcasts don't even get beyond, 25 episodes.
So we might as well kill it right now.
Yeah.
Right at 100. Kill it.
Right at 100.
Start over again.
Yeah. Start anew.
Well, hey, if you end at the peak, there's no downhill.
I suppose. I don't know. This show may have peaked at about episode number 3.
Now, Volkai, I saw that you came into the show late, right? Because we had talked a little bit earlier about Hearthstone and the new tournament format thing that they have going. Chris, our resident card expert, knew nothing about it.
Yeah, I did my research. Apparently, it's really stupid. Apparently, it's just a thing so you can host your own tournaments for your friends.
At this point, I think it's safe to say that the only reason Blizzard has announced the "don't call it a tournament" mode is so that voices like the Angry Chicken podcast and other major personalities in the Hearthstone community would stop asking for it. Otherwise, I'm pretty sure they would have kept it under wraps for another 6 months until they actually had something to show.
I mean...
But it is something that will be very useful. Because it'll
Blizzard...
do what...
Go ahead.
What it's going to do is a lot of what services like Battlefy are doing right now, which is where basically any tournament that's not just offline in meat space is going through a service like Battlefy, where you have to friend your opponent, which clogs up your 200 limit friends list, and post a screenshot of whether you won or lost, and copy out a deck code so people can see that you're not changing your deck mid-tournament. A lot of that stuff will be done in client in the game with the don't call it a tournament mode tournament format.
That's actually pretty smart.
I mean, it's a nice thing, but it's also something that really should take Blizzard a month to create and implement. But for whatever reason, Blizzard insists upon using this super awful engine that they created, and it's awful.
Well, the thing is, if you mess up the tiniest element of a tournament mode, shit hits the fan 9 different ways, and when you have $1 million prize pool, that's an issue.
Oh, can you actually put up prize pools in this tournament? No, sorry, don't call it a tournament mode as well?
Not yet, but that's part of why they're not even implementing it until midway through the year, and then they're probably going to keep on testing it for at least another 6 months past that. I doubt we'll see it go into any official capacity until at least the 2019 tournament season.
Let me ask you this, Chris. If they were to implement a way that, let's say, the person who created it could either elect to, A, put up, dust or legendary card or even gold as a prize pool, or if there's even a 50 gold entry and then the winner gets all that gold, would you be interested then?
In the mode?
Yeah.
I mean,
because then you could potentially come home from work, sit down, look to see if there's any tournaments going live or whatnot to maybe win some gold.
Yeah, that would be a nice thing, but then Blizzard would never do it because people would abuse that feature, because then they would host private tournaments, and then they'd have a whole bunch of alt accounts that pony up a bunch of gold, and then miraculously their main account wins the tournament, and then they get all the gold from their other accounts that they were farming with their other bots.
You don't think there's a way to
circumvent
that?
I mean, I'm sure there is ways you could do that, but I think if you're going to want to have prizes for your tournament mode, you'd have to do that off program and just be like, I'll PayPal you the money or whatever.
I mean, because that gets actually really complicated to oversee from a logistics standpoint, if and make sure that it's administrated fairly.
Right.
You know what I mean?
Yeah.
So that's interesting. Anyway, Volkai, thanks for the call. We appreciate it.
Marcus,
not a problem. I've been enjoying listening to this show, and I'm looking forward to the next one.
Thanks, man. Appreciate it. Give us a call. Final Encountercast, 810-207-1764. Final Encountercast on Skype. LimitBreakRadio.com/Discord if you want to call in on Discord.
Now, Marcus Kyler in the chat here, Chris, says, the Volkai Chris, don't call it a card game show. Make it happen.
Show? How about no?
Could you even do a card game show? Could you?
Probably.
Yeah.
I mean, it depends on how often you want me to do it. I mean, I could probably do a monthly one.
Yeah.
Although I'm dropping on my card game, so maybe not.
But look,
is it a conscious? Is it a? I can't believe that we're back to asking about Chris and his fucking card game habit. But is it because all of the card games are being more predatory with their currency practices? What is it exactly?
It depends on the card game. When I played Eternal, the reason I stopped playing that game was because the actual game mechanics themselves were really unfun. You had 70 card decks, you had the basic land system from Magic, and all these things just kept on adding up to make it just like really, really like random, like tons of variance, and like I would either win because my opponent never had any lands, or I would lose because my hand was all lands. It's like wins didn't feel rewarding and losses felt crushing because I just couldn't play the game. With Yu-Gi-Oh, like I said before, the problem was that it's just cost too much. Like there's not a way.
It's cost intensive.
It's cost intensive. Like if you want to have the best deck or even like a competitive deck, you either play this one specific deck that is admittedly pretty cheap to make, or you just spend tons and tons of money buying card packs, which it's $1 for a pack, which is 3 cards. One of them is a rare, and then hopefully you actually get the super rare or ultra rare, which actually improve your deck, which not very likely. So it really just depends on the card game as to why I'm dropping it.
I feel like if there was, I mean, like any game that gets too rigid, I feel like I end up tuning out of. You know what I mean? Like even, because I like, Pokemon and competitive Pokemon, and the fact that it gets an update every year or so, but I'm already kind of bored of VGC 2018. Yeah. So it's like, you know what I mean? Like it
needs regular updates to keep it fresh.
Yes, exactly. And I feel like, because we've been talking a lot about meta, especially with the meta shift in Overwatch, that
that's the thing with Yu-Gi-Oh! There's a meta shift literally every month. And the problem
that's
very fast.
Yeah. Way too fast.
And even like technically it could have happened multiple times in a single month if they decide to ban a certain card, which they've done because they released a card that was so brokenly overpowered. It basically lets you draw through your entire deck, is what the deck did because of this one card. But anyway, like it's really hard to strike a good balance between shifting the meta and shifting it too often.
Yeah.
I feel like Hearthstone almost hits that right. I feel like if they would had a way to actually shift the meta just a little more often, because basically the only meta shifts in Hearthstone is when a new expansion comes out, which is once every 4 months.
See, that even seems
it seems long
it seems too quick for my wallet.
Oh well, yeah. I mean, if they made it so it was actually like cost effective to stay up to date with buying cards or whatever.
Okay, then 4 months might not be that bad.
Yeah, that's like fair. This is the problem with card games. In Eternal, like the free to play aspect was like they hit the perfect spot because you could play one game a day. If you win, you get a card pack. In Hearthstone, like if you have to like do daily quests and then you get basically the equivalent of half a pack. So like
and those daily quests can take a while sometimes,
especially if you don't have a good card, if you don't have a good deck because you don't have good cards because you don't have card packs, and it gets circular. And so like I'm just really searching for like a card game that hits the free to play aspect, so you actually want to spend money because you actually feel like you're getting something out of it, but also have like a good game mechanic behind the game to where I'm actually having fun with this game. And I have not found that game yet. This is the trials of a card game player.
See, if
I'm pouring out my heart to you.
Well, hang on. Now, before you got into digital card games, you were also, you were very much into physical card games. Yeah. I mean, was there a burnout there for the same reasons?
There's just so many other factors. Like in physical card games, I played Magic, Yu-Gi-Oh, Duel Monsters.
I feel like the biggest limiting factor there is finding other people to play with.
Yes, like that's the biggest thing is being able to actually play with your physical cards. Because with digital card games, you just hop on your little app and then the whole world is available to you.
Right.
In physical card games, you have to go out and deal with stinky players who are gross and do that thing where they walk behind women a little too closely because it feels empowering. That's the kind of people you have to deal with in physical card games. And then also, of course, there's also the pay, the fact you have to physically put money into the physical card game.
And they're expensive.
They are very expensive.
Was it like $10 or $12 for a pack of Magic cards nowadays?
No.
Jesus.
No. It's probably between 4 or 5.
Oh, okay.
Yeah,
it hasn't gone up. It hasn't gone up. But the price of cards themselves really depends on the game.
Yeah.
I'm not sure how you pronounce the name, but one of the cards when I used to play Magic was called like a Tamagüif or something like that. It was an awful name. That one
Tamaqueef?
like
Tamaqueef.
Tamagoreef.
It's where you take a tomahawk and you dip it in a bucket of queef.
This was like a mythic rare, and that one card could run you $150 to $200. Jesus. In Yu-Gi-Oh, there at the top time, the deck was Destiny Heroes, and you can only get this one card out of tournament packs, which you could only get if you won like a regional tournament, right? And so that card was the rarest card in the pack, and that would run you like $300 to $400 for one card. You need 3 of them. So there's just no winning with card games. I'm unfortunate to say.
Why are you into them?
Yeah, why continue to even try?
I hate myself.
Oh.
But
that
for
makes
real,
sense.
I feel like you could do this once a month for a half hour. Easily.
Probably, but I wish I had the time.
Let's go back to our phone lines. Matt's hanging on Discord. What's going on, Matt?
Hey guys, so I've got 2 things. First, I just want to say that I've been a fan of you guys and your network since about November 2016.
Nice.
So it was right around then I was let go from my first job right out of college. It was one of those jobs where they understated their requirements and I overstated my ability to do it. And so I was doing. Yeah. So I was doing work for my grandma. I saw you guys. I've heard a Limit Break Radio before. I do some yard work, make a little money, and ever since then I've been been a fan. Like even I was let go from my second job after that for no rhyme and reason other than it's like, oh, we can't train you anymore. And I started listening through your entire archive of both LBR and FEC.
Damn.
I still remember. Yeah. I still remember when Robbie had his meltdown over the FF7 remake and when Nika threatened to walk.
Where did Nika threaten to walk from?
Like the very first episode because Nate threatened to mute her.
Wait, really? She threatened to
Yes.
leave?
I don't know. I don't remember this.
Yes, she said, it's like, if you mute me, I turn off my camera and I walk.
I don't even remember that.
We could have had this problem solved a long time ago.
Awesome.
Yeah. So, but anyway, but I just want to say, you've earned a fan for as long as you guys are on the air, not leaving anytime soon. And also, and also, it comes to my second point. I lean a little bit on the different political scale than you guys. I'm right leaning with libertarian views. And if we're going to talk, let's be real here. Then I got to say that the gun control crowd. I think this is just my own personal observations. It's one random asshole on the internet. Is that the gun control crowd absolutely sucks at defining what they're talking about, and this is probably the biggest reason why they've lost every single battle, despite having all of these shootings on their side that they could appeal to us why we need stronger laws. I mean, even take a look at recent news coverage and screenings from CNN. They had this retired lieutenant general of 23 years, didn't look like he knew how to properly fire a gun, and even used made-up terms like full semi-auto. This is the kind of thing that makes people who might want to have a conversation, they look at you or not you guys, but people on your side, like they don't have any idea what they're talking about, yet they want to talk about bringing regulation in to try and deal with this issue. And if they can't even bring some basic knowledge to the thing, not saying that they have to know the ins and outs of everything, but if they look like they're just making up terms then how can we even begin to have a conversation if the first thing they turn to is terms that sound scary, or they look big, or they sound official, but to anybody who has any sort of knowledge is not.
Yeah. Oh, absolutely.
Fake terms like clean coal energy.
Right.
Terms like that. I interned at a coal mine, and let me tell you, that shit's not clean. Don't ever get a lungful of that shit.
Yeah.
Well, and I think, you bring up a lot of good points is that, if people are working off of 2 different sets of facts, you can't even begin to have a productive conversation, right? Like if you can't even agree on the basic facts of what the fuck you're talking about, there's no way to even begin to have a productive conversation. And that's one of the things that really, I think, drives me nuts about the whole thing is it's like, dude, I understand what it is to like something and want to protect it, right? And and I understand that guns are fun and that they're a hobby in a lot of ways, but I don't think that that this narrative that there needs, that my home needs to be defended with AR-15s and semi-automatic. That is a complete and utter fallacy, because who are you defending from exactly? If you think that you're defending from the government, they'll roll tanks over you like they did in Waco. This is not,
some people's houses do get broken into.
Get burglarized, yes, but why do you need 15 AR-15s to defend against a burglar? You don't. When people get to gun collections that large and that shocking, they're starting to arm themselves against either a zombie apocalypse or the government. Neither of which is going to end well for you. Maybe you might do okay in a zombie apocalypse, but if the government decides that it wants to come after you,
you probably got more going on.
Your arsenal is not going to matter. They will burn the fucking place to the ground. They don't give a shit. ATF doesn't give a shit. Fucking government doesn't give a shit. They'll do what they feel is necessary.
Air quotes there.
Yeah, to fucking either stop you or protect whatever they think needs protecting. I mean, that's, I think, the side of gun culture that most people are speaking out against. People owning a handgun. That's not even been a subject of debate.
That's fine.
That's fine.
That's fine, guys.
Seriously. But it's dude, when you get to the Army-style attachments to rifles, that's when the gun culture starts to get very uncomfortable for me, even as someone who owns a gun. I've been in fucking gun ranges with gun nuts. You can't tell me that the attitude doesn't exist. It does. It does. And it's nothing more than just fandom. I get it. It's the enthusiasm that I see people dressed up in Naruto cosplay. It's that same level of enthusiasm and even just joy that people get. And I don't think that they want to hurt people. I think it's fun. Guns are fun. But there's got to be a logical limit. Because at the end of the day, cosplay doesn't lead to people dying. The point of cosplay is not to kill someone. A gun is a tool. And the point of that tool is to point it at something and kill it. That's it. It's the only point that tool has. You can't take a gun and dig a hole, can you? Can't take a gun.
Not very well.
I mean, you could just
not
bang
well.
at the dirt enough and...
Or you could shoot at the dirt a whole bunch of times, then eventually a hole will appear.
I mean,
but there are tools that do that job much better.
Yes, if you want to dig a hole, you get a shovel.
You could also kill someone with a shovel too.
You could kill someone with a shovel, but if you want something dead, you get a gun. That's what these tools are. That's what they do. That's what they're for. So why is this a conversation that's so hard to start? It's because people like the shit. They like to have fun. They like to have fun with it. And when people come for entertainment, far more than anything else, people reflexively go, no. Don't fuck with my thing.
And if your excuse is, well, they're not educated enough to know better, educate them. Let studies happen that can educate both sides. Start making maybe mandatory classes that you have to go to. Do you guys remember back in school when you had to take a hunter's ed class in order to go hunting?
No, I didn't.
Okay, well, you lived in the city. Anyway, that was the thing that you did out in the country, right?
I was out in the country, too.
Well, anyway.
We had a day off of school for open hunting season, okay?
Yeah.
Don't talk to me about...
You don't think that it's maybe weird that you shouldn't have to go get certified in order to have a weapon that can kill en masse?
Apparently, in other countries, you have to go through multiple classes.
Yeah,
of education
well, I'm
things
asking
and police investigations and everything, and then eventually you can buy a gun.
Matt, do you think that that's uncalled for or weird, having to take a class before owning one?
I mean, we already have like an effective ban on on actual assault weapons. I mean, they're
automatic assault weapons.
Automatic or even weapons with select fire capability. But it's would training help? Maybe, but even then, it's at the same time, would training somebody how to use an AR-15 stop them from walking into a school and gunning the place down?
Well, not necessarily, but I do think if there were more steps, like you have to go to education class, you have to do all this, it might dissuade some people from just going out and getting one.
In certain cases, the teachers might be able to notice, like, hey, based on the way that this guy is acting and some of the stuff that he said, he probably shouldn't have one of these things.
I think it's less for education and more for the barrier for entry that comes with it. Because I mean, I do think that it's a good point that you don't have to be trained to go buy a gun. You know what I mean?
I made a claim on one of our last episodes about how if I wanted to right now, if I had the money, I could go buy an AR-15. And people in the chat were like, no, you can't. There was actually a news story about a doctor who one day on his lunch was like, I wonder how hard it is. And he went to the store, and in 20 minutes on his lunch, he had bought an AR-15.
Now, here's something interesting. When I have gone to the gun range to shoot, and I don't bring my own gun, they do require you to go through a class at that place before they'll rent you a gun.
That's good. I like hearing that.
Right? But if you bring your own gun, you can just go and shoot. You just buy bullets and you go and you shoot at fucking targets. They assume that you have been through some kind of training if you bring your own gun. And there's nothing that prevents you from going in, buying a gun, and walking out, except for the background checks and any hold period that may be in your state. So, I do think that there are significantly, and I've heard a lot of people talk about, well, down here in the South, we have this big hunting culture, and we trade guns like, I shouldn't have to get the government involved.
For hunting, not an AR-15.
I shouldn't have to get the government involved to be able to pass down a rifle to my child. Well, if you were going to pass down a vehicle to your child, would you not put the title in their fucking name?
Yeah, you got to do that, by the way.
Yeah, you do.
There's all kinds of shit that we have to do to register cars and all kinds of other shit. How is there not that kind of red tape that you have to go through with guns? I mean, in certain places there are, but it's not across the board. And I think that's part of the problem.
Matt, do you find it odd that the government isn't allowed to research gun violence?
The government is not allowed to research gun violence?
The CDC has been banned from researching gun violence in the same way that they have researched like vehicle accidents and vehicle safety that has then led to more safety precautions in vehicles. Yes.
Really?
Do you find that weird?
If I'm taking your claim at face value, yes.
Well, it came from President Obama, so unless he's a liar.
Oh, yeah, he is a liar.
Oh, okay, never mind then. He lied.
Thanks, Obama.
Thanks, Obama.
But I mean, I mean, honestly, I am also not one that says throw government regulation to solve every problem. I don't think that is a blanket solution. I just think that there has been so little movement on this issue for so long that the gun laws have been clearly outdated by society. They have not caught up to where we are in our social structure to be able to make it sustainable. So, I think that's among other reasons why, the debate needs to happen, and it needs to happen honestly. Matt, thanks so much for the call. Appreciate hearing from you.
All right. It's good to talk to you guys.
All right. Before we go, let's read a couple of emails here. And Robbie, you wanna start us off?
Is this on the outline?
It is.
Okay, then yes, I will absolutely start us off because I saw that you're like in the actual email up there. So
No. We got an email from Morgan Freeman.
all right, is this
Morgan
the one right at the
Freeman.
top? Oh boy,
Yeah, there you go.
This is I see my name in this.
Oh boy.
Hey all, I really enjoyed listening to you talk about what you thought was going to happen during and after the Infinity War movies. It was an insightful discussion.
That's not from Morgan Freeman.
Yeah, it's not that one. It's the one before that.
sorry.
Yeah,
You
it's
stupid
up above.
piece
you
of shit.
dumb motherfucker.
Yeah, that's the one that I have at the top.
no.
I have to
No.
exit the dock and go back in for it to update for some reason because that was definitely at the top of my outline. Thank you very much.
I don't know how that's possible.
Yeah, I don't know
Yeah,
either.
it's definitely not.
That sounds like bullshit to me.
Yeah.
Nope, it definitely was.
That's your penis.
Bullshit.
I hope not.
What?
Your penis is bullshit.
You haven't seen my penis.
That's what you think.
Oh, can we not?
You've slept in my house before.
All right, Morgan Freeman, a.k.a. Reggie here.
sorry.
Today
Oh,
will
it's up
be,
even
So
further.
today will be the last episode of Final Encountercast. Hope this letter reaches you in time to read on air. Just wanted to say I am very happy the show came to be. I wanted to call in today, but work. But work.
Butt work.
Anyway, I went back. I went back and watched some old episodes on YouTube and laughed. So many inside jokes. You all have more respect for continuity than Yoshi P. But that's another show. To convey my thoughts into words is hard, so I will say this. Kooky, you are a dynamo. Pops, you were cool. Skuro, you are needed. Chris, you are a force of nature. Nika, you are an inspiration. You are inspiration personified. Kahlo, you are the best. Lance, Faceman in the biz.
I don't know what that means.
I don't know what that is either. Even though they may not be here, Callie, you are a hero, and I'm sure someone out there has seen or heard you and said, if a 6'5" son of a bitch can throw on a dress, so can I. I like that. Lastly, Nate, no words, sir. I don't know where you get your work ethic, attention to detail, and just inner fire. I will try to lurk on your final encounter cast.
No, that's your final.
Final encounter cast. There we go. So from all 92 of us listening, thank you. And final encounter cast is dead. Long live final encounter cast.
Excuse you, sir. There is 112 people listening right now.
I'd like to point out, too, that he's not talking about you, Chris. He's talking about KRIS, Chris.
Kris Jenner.
That's actually someone that I've been on this show before, so yes, that is me. I've also been Fat Princess.
I remember
Nosferatu.
Nosferatu. Nosferatu was a good one.
And just regular Chris. So, yes, I am the man of many names.
What were you today? I didn't even
Chris.
look.
Just Chris.
Oh, okay.
No, he's just normal. He's been triple question mark.
Yep.
Fat Main, I think that was another one.
Yeah.
God, you've had a lot of nicknames.
Yeah, I know.
Eater of worlds. Eater of foods.
If you ever get a Wikipedia page, someone needs to go back and record all of your nicknames.
Chris, a.k.a. Juxtaposition, a.k.a. Eater of Foods, a.k.a.
Fat Princess,
a.k.a. Nosferatu.
You might actually have more nicknames than Callie does.
Actually?
Sure.
Yeah, probably.
Yeah, probably.
Nice. We appreciate it, Morgan Freeman. Always
Thank
been
you.
one of our
AKA Reggie.
steadfast supporters.
All right, so why don't you read the other email?
Okay. Hey, y'all.
Goes and reads Morgan Freeman.
I really enjoyed listening to you talk about what you thought was going to happen during and after the Infinity War movies. It was an insightful discussion. Thank you. While Rob was discussing the possibility of the Silver Surfer in the movie, it hit me somewhere. With all of this going on with Fox and Marvel, what do you think the possibilities of the Avengers vs. X-Men comics being made into film are? I know that Fox must still have some hold on the X-Men franchise since they're cranking out the New Mutants movie next year, so who knows? It was great hearing about comics from you guys, and I would definitely subscribe to more of your beautiful voices saying more comic-related things in the future. As always, keep up the great work, and thanks for making me feel joy at my otherwise joyless office job, Steve. P.S. I know this isn't the right show, but Flying Tissue Combats is an amazing punk band name. Make it happen.
That is actually a really good punk band name.
Over the next, actually probably decades, I think that probably eventually, Marvel would probably look into doing an Avengers X-Men type crossover. But given how they handled Civil War, which had no deaths in it, but in the comic had many deaths, I don't know that it would be anything near what the actual story in the comics would be, because killing off any character from both the Avengers and the X-Men is giving up on a lot of potential headlines and revenue there.
I think that they've got to reboot the X-Men first before they do Avengers versus X-Men.
Although
I could see it happening, though. I could see it happening down the line.
If they actually, you know what? A good way to reboot and recast the X-Men would be to bring the current universe over through Secret Wars, blah, 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 whatever. Whichever way you do it, they come over, have to fight the X-Men, or have to fight the Avengers, then you can kill off all those X-Men, and then just find the real world counterparts.
They need to reboot it first. Yeah. No.
So then you kill off Cyclops, and then you just don't have Cyclops ever again?
He's already dead. Or did they bring him back somehow? But I don't give a shit. I don't care.
I don't even know what the current continuity of the X-Men franchise is.
Yeah, but no, I'm with Nick. They need to reboot.
I thought they rebooted it again anyway.
Yeah, I thought they were doing a fresh reboot.
Didn't they already do that?
I thought it was already filmed.
Okay.
And it's got the chick who plays Sansa playing Jean Grey,
okay,
right?
That wasn't a reboot. It was because Days of Future Past reset the timeline.
Oh, Jesus.
Yeah.
But
X-Men
didn't reboot.
You're right. No, you're right. You're right.
Yeah,
You're right.
X-Men doesn't actually have reboots, right? It's all just like resets or alternate. Like none of them are actually reboots.
Yep. Technically, everything from X1 is still in continuity.
Yeah.
Okay.
Lick my balls.
I like that.
Thank you for the email, Steve. I appreciate that. There's one more thing that we've got here, and Chris, how about you open this link here that Kooky has provided?
Oh boy,
the Google one.
Yes, and Robbie, you want to read the comment here?
Where is this link she's providing?
It's beneath.
I can read it.
Okay. All right, Nika, you go.
Thanks,
ahead.
Nika.
Right. It's from listener Nate at Emerald City Comic Con. He says, "Hi guys," and Nika, I guess. I'm at Emerald City Comic Con. I have loved your show for years and got you all a gift for the final episode of FEC. Love you guys and the show. It's gotten me through some rough times in my life, and I am sad to see it coming to an end, but all good things do. I recorded the video on my phone, and I think you guys are going to love it. Sincerely, Nate D.
You got that video pulled up there?
Yeah, you want me to hit play?
Yeah, go for it.
This is Solid Snake, and I just wanted to say, long live Final Encounter Podcast.
That's awesome. Quite possibly, maybe. I mean, we didn't have very many.
Kojima?
Fuck off. We didn't have that many interviews here on FEC, but I mean, we did. The first time that we talked to David Hayter was for Final Encounter.
It was.
That's pretty cool. That's pretty fucking cool. Thank you, Nate. That's a very cool gift for the end of
that was nice.
Final Encounter Cast. Was not expecting that. This is definitely a surprise. All right, guys, that's going to be it for the final Encounter Cast.
Final.
It's been a hell of a ride, guys. And I do want to thank all of our patrons. Without you, this show would never have been possible. We may take a week or two off just to kind of, get
recalibrate.
Get everything set up and ready for the launch of the Let's Be Real podcast. But don't worry, if you've been a fan of Final Encounter Cast, you can think of it as a prototype for what the Let's Be Real podcast will be. So, thank you to all of our callers. Thank you to Steve and Nate and Morgan Freeman for sending us some email to help bring the show to a conclusion. It's been awesome. It's been an awesome privilege to do the show and to see the opportunities that it's provided for us moving forward has been really incredible. So thank you guys for everything and for making the show what it is. We may be providing some sort of source of entertainment, but we've always had open lines. You guys have always given us stuff to bounce off of, and so thank you for your own role in Final Encounter Cast. Not just for helping us fund it and bring it into existence, but also for bringing content to the table and discussions to the table. We do appreciate that, and we want more of that as we move forward into the Let's Be Real podcast. So that's going to be it for Final Encountercast for today and for the rest of days. Forever.
Another victory for America.
Thank you guys for listening. FinalEncountercast.com. It'll be up, but our new home will be over at lbrnetwork.com. It should be up, hopefully, within the next couple of weeks. We'll be back here next week with either a best of or one of our favorite episodes starting at 1 p.m. here at twitch.tv/Limit Break Radio. Again, thank you to all of you who have helped build this show into what it is. And of course, to my amazing crew that has been helming the show with me the entire time. Even though he's not here, special shout out to Callie, Nika, Chris, Robbie. My name's Nate. Keep listening. Final Encountercast is a production of FinalEncountercast.com, Limit Break Radio, and Bender Media Productions. Today's episode was produced by Nate Bender, Callie Sloan, and Kooky Persona. This show is made possible by the generous Patreon donors of the podcast Limit Break Radio. Opening music provided by Keyboard Kid. More info and music can be found at keyboardkid206.bandcamp.com. Closing music provided by Sobsy. For more info, visit sobsy.bandcamp.com. Final Encountercast and its hosts are solely responsible for its content.